With a team of 4 assembled, I decided to take on the first gym leader, Brock, but we only get to bring the same amount of Pokemon, too. The way that randomized gyms work in Infinite Fusion is the gym leaders still have a type theme, but the type that they get is completely randomized, in this case giving Brock dragon types. And low-level dragon types are pretty weak, meaning we can easily handle his Centini. However, his Dragonx is a much bigger threat, immediately flinching us with Twister and getting us down into the red with a critical hit before we can use Stomp. It does do over half, but since we won't outspeed because of the paralysis, I'm forced to swap out into Elia, who, because we reversed her fusion, is no longer a fairy type and can be hit by the dragon move Twister. It's really not that big a threat, however, and a couple of disarming voices handles the Dragonx, getting us our first gym badge from Brock. After the gym fight, I start heading through Mount Moon, where my first encounter is a Charita. Looks like somebody drew on your face. Has anybody seen Jigglypuff? Luckily, we can evolve this thing at level 16 right away into Charleaf, and it looks pretty good. However, because Charmander evolves at 16 too, it evolves again at the next level, and I wish I could go back in time. We then run into Team Rocket trying to fuse 3 Pokemon together, which seems absolutely crazy. Imagine doing something like fusing Cerulege, Machamp, and Magearna together. Actually, maybe that would be a mistake. What's definitely not a mistake, though, is training our Magikarp and getting it to level 18, where Slackoth evolves into Vigoroth. However, we don't have to stop there, since the level cap is at 22, we can also evolve Magikarp into Gyarados to create this monstrosity. Having Silver prepares us for the second gym fight with Misty, who ironically has bug types. Being possibly the weakest type in the game, Charleaf has no trouble taking out her Oddco, sending in her final Pokemon Yonmander, which actually poses a threat with Dragon Rage. Yonmander outspeeds us and can dish out 40 HP of damage every turn, so I'm forced to swap into Gyarados, who unfortunately doesn't have over 80 HP, so we can't take a second hit. However, it being a fully evolved Gyarados, we're just faster and can finish it off with a Thrash, granting us the gym badge. Before we can reach our next destination in Vermilion City, we pass through Route 5, where I find a Raltic, which, despite being the attaching feeling Pokemon, I don't want you attaching any feelings to. We can then also evolve Digdor into Digdoom, but it ends up looking a lot better once we also evolve it into Dugtrio. Which leads us to the main event of Vermilion City, taking on Lieutenant Surge, who himself has taken on ghost types, perhaps haunted by his war-torn past. Luckily, my team is full of strong normal types, and I can bring my Milnair and Gyarados, understanding that they won't be able to use their normal stab against the ghost types either. Once I've dealt with Hauntini, Lieutenant Surge reveals his Clefgrigus, a ghost fairy type. On top of that, it's got Nightshade, and being just one hit away from being taken out, we have to swap out Dugdoom. I send in Gyarados, who manages to dodge an Ominous Wind, but barely does any damage with Bite the next turn, also acquiring the Mummy ability.